Hello beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. Today we're looking at what they've realized about you and about your connection. There will also be an extended linked down below, and personal readings are also available. That's also linked down below. And I know I have been gone for some time. It's just that life has been lifing quite a bit for me lately. All is well, and I mean, all is well. It wasn't like everything has been okay. I've just been sick and traveling, and there's just been a lot getting in the way. So I just wanted to say that I love being here so much. I love doing stuff on the channel so much, but sometimes it's just not a good time for me. Especially lately, I feel like I've just been like here and there with the channel, and I really want to put more time and effort into it, so hopefully I will get the opportunity to do that in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, thank you for sticking around, and thank you for just being here. I'm really grateful that I get to do this, and yeah, I have no intention of just disappearing, so I just wanted to make that clear. I've gotten some messages while I was gone, and there's no need to worry. I am still around and I am okay. So just busy and a bit chaotic as usual. But yeah, anyway, now I will stop rambling and let you focus on which group calls to you the most, and I will see you soon. Hello my beautiful pile ones, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind now realizes about you and about your connection. And I want to start off with these oracle cards first so that we can take a look at the energies of this situation, what has happened, what's been going on, so you can decide if this is the group for you or if you want to check something else out. So we'll start off with these, and then we have some tarot and an extended reading as well, but we will talk about that later on. So we are starting off with the snake animal spirit, and I pulled an animal spirit card for each pile to directly represent the energy of the person that is coming through. We have number 35 left out with the wolves. And we have another number 35, the revolution. 35 or 8 could be significant. August could be significant. Leo could be significant, but all of these are for additional confirmation if you're looking for any. So with that said, let's get into the energies. For a lot of you, I think this is going to be someone that you have a complicated history with. I think the exact logistics, the exact happenings will of course vary depending on your exact situation, but for the majority of you, this is coming through as someone that you are emotionally and maybe intuitively connected to, but physically maybe not that much anymore, in the sense that there is a sense of a break or a breakup or distance between the two of you. With left out with the wolves, this is kind of what I want to start with about this person's energy. They are coming through as someone on edge, and I don't think this is just someone on edge right now. I think this is overall a nervous person that is also good at covering up that they are nervous as well. And by nervous, I mean someone who is feeling ungrounded within themselves, and as a result, ungrounded in other situations, especially when they call for a lot of vulnerability, a lot of authenticity. This is someone who has maybe been dishonest with you in certain ways or has misled you about their intentions. I think for a lot of you, this is not necessarily a tactic that this person used or a strategy that this person used, but it was more so something caused by their inability to see the big picture, their inability to see the truth in their own actions, and the aftermath of their actions. Like, there is a bit of acting recklessly in this energy, and maybe without consideration for you and for the relationship itself. They may have done something to sabotage this relationship. They may have done something that has forced you to turn away from this person, even though it was the last thing you wanted to do. I feel that this person is quite afraid. It seems they have felt quite small, but have tried to appear bigger and stronger than they actually feel. I think this is someone who cares a lot about how they are perceived by other people, to an extent where it may be damaging, really damaging to their own relationship with their own self. But I also feel this energy of being so concerned with how they might be perceived and wanting to be perceived a certain way might also come from the fact that they have not really fostered a very strong relationship with their own self, or tried to build a very strong relationship with their own self. Maybe they didn't really have a healthy relationship to model their interactions off of. I feel like there is a lot of deeply rooted wounds coming through in this person's energy. And it's not that I feel they necessarily are out to get people or out to get you. And I'm not saying this to justify any of their behavior if they have hurt you, especially, but it is more so to hopefully understand where they may have been coming from, and understand that their actions seem to be very much a result of this chaos within them. There is like a sense of this person being pulled in different directions, and this person having a lot of inner work that they have put off in general. And instead, to hide that, it seems like they've just put a lot of band-aids over their wounds to try to hide them, to try to make them feel better, or to try to ignore them, like act like they're not really there. But I think this is someone, if this sounds like your situation, I think you've been involved with someone who has had fears of intimacy, has had fears of vulnerability, has had fears of authenticity, and someone who is actually quite insecure about how they come across, even if they try to overcompensate for this by appearing stoic, or like they don't care, or they don't have time for emotions, or everything, like nothing matters to them. None of these are really true, but I feel some of these may be projections, reflections of this person that you have seen through their actions and through things that they have said. I just heard sharp tongue, so this person might be someone who has tended to say things without thinking of the consequences. They may have thrown words around, and there is also this energy of this person maybe not seeing you very clearly, very authentically either, because their perception is just masked by this fog that they are in. So it feels a lot like there is a bit of a narrative going on here on this person's end, where they try to avoid any blame or any negative feelings about this situation. Like, they just want to feel good. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel happy. They want to have easy energies around them. Now, I don't think this is necessarily where this situation went or how this person is experiencing things right now, but I feel that they are someone who prefers to deal with lighter situations than maybe just sit and be confronted with their behavior that was not okay. I think this is someone who has a lot of difficulties looking at themselves authentically out of a fear of rejection. I think they reject parts of themselves or reject responsibility for some of their own behavior, and that gives them the impression that other people will also just outright reject them for the same behavior, for where they're lacking, for where they're weak. And I'm not using these as my own words, like lacking or weak, but I think this is someone with a lot of negative self-talk, and they try to drown that out by positive talk or positive interactions with other people. It seems like a cycle of validation that this person has been in, and they have needed a lot of support. They have leaned on your energy a lot, and I feel like you have given to this person very freely. But I also feel that maybe there was a breaking point in this connection where you realized you just feel drained, or something doesn't feel right, or this person hasn't shown you their true intentions and they are now coming out. And again, I don't think this necessarily has to indicate this person has come into this connection with bad intentions, but I do think what you were able to give to each other has not been the same or on the same level with this person. For a lot of you, I think you will be the one that has set some form of boundary with this person, or walked away from this connection, or broken this relationship off, even if that doesn't mean like you're just over it. I feel like for a lot of you, you may have felt like you had to do this, maybe for your own good, maybe for your own peace of mind, maybe because this person was consistently breaching your boundaries. There is a sense of codependency coming through, but maybe you would not necessarily have seen it that way. But I do think there is an aspect of this energy that has been dependent on you and dependent on this kind of gentle, nurturing softness that you were exuding, that you can so freely give to other people. And I feel like this person has maybe taken and taken and taken, and maybe there came a point where you thought, I can't give to this anymore, not under these circumstances. I don't think it's that it feels like there's been a lot of miscommunications, a lot of insufficient communication, a lot of confusion, a huge lack of clarity, especially around intentions. Maybe this was a situationship for some of you that you could never see through in the end, because this person was making false promises or not really putting in the effort that they may have given you the impression that they would. I think this person did want to impress you. I think this person did want to do well, but in their own way, which seems like it may have not been exactly what you needed or wanted from them or from a relationship. It just seems like maybe the intentions and the energies were a bit unmatched in this situation. I also feel this person may have had this narrative that, like, where they may not see what they did wrong in this situation exactly, or they may not have put a lot of thought into what they could have done wrong or what they could have done differently or what they can take from this situation. It is quite guarded, their energy, and it seems a bit like they are poisoning themselves by, for one, holding on to certain self-limiting beliefs, maybe that they picked up in their childhood. And these troubles around intimacy, authenticity, vulnerability, and these are things that take a lot of courage, that take a lot of openness, that can feel very risky and very much outside of our comfort zone. And I feel like this notion has kept this person a bit stuck in their own energy, where they are getting in their own way. They are kind of going in circles, but keeping themselves stuck and hurting themselves by going in these circles, both mentally and also in terms of behavioral patterns. For some of you, this person might be someone who is like a serial dater, or someone who just doesn't really commit to something much. It might be, it seems almost like you may have had the impression this person didn't take you seriously, wasn't taking you seriously, wasn't giving you what you needed, what you wanted. It seems like this connection has brought you a lot of heart pain. A lot of heartache, not heart pain, heartache. And I feel this is a bit of a situation where the saying like hurt people might apply. It doesn't mean hurt people get to hurt like other people. But it seems that this person has very much acted out of their pain, out of their fears, out of anxieties, out of insecurity especially. I think this is someone who is deeply insecure, but they would not tell you that. They would not want you to know that. Maybe you've already figured that out about this person from the way they talk, or from the way they act, or from the way this connection itself played out. But it almost seems like you put your best efforts into this situation until the very last moment, till the very end. But this person did not really see that. They may have instead felt judged, or like a victim, or like you were out to get them. It seems like they felt a lot of fear in this connection, even if the emotion that they projected onto you, or the way they behaved, did not look like fear, but maybe anger. I think a lot of this person's behaviors and what they really feel are quite mismatched. It's like they don't really act on their authentic feelings, maybe because they don't quite know, they find it difficult to identify what it is exactly that they're feeling. For some of you, this could be someone that struggles a lot with mental health. You may or may not know about this. I think this is someone who has been very confused in their own head, and they've acted in ways that you might just look back at and think like, why? Why did it have to be this way? Why did this person act this way? But I think it's also that this person was not able to see beyond what they can see within the boundaries that their insecurity has set for them, or how they've learned to connect. The disruptions in that sets a different standard for relationships, and for what they expect of themselves as well. I feel like this person at the same time expects a lot from themselves, but also doesn't have a lot of faith in themselves, or courage or confidence in themselves that they can live up to these expectations. So it almost feels like they would expect the same from other people, that inherently they would never be good enough, so they have to act like they are. They have to appear like they are. And I'm not saying this as an objective statement, but more so reciting what I feel their thought process might be. And I feel like this makes them come off quite closed off, and like they may not even be interested, but I feel like this person has felt very drawn to your energy and has really cared about you deeply in their own way, but it all seems like that has not been what was reflected onto you, or not enough. And it is also perfectly okay that, or if you felt the need to set boundaries with this person, boundaries are healthy in relationships. And I almost feel like maybe for some of you, you wanted to set a healthy boundary with this person or wanted to take a break, but this person may have lashed out at that, and things may have just gone downhill. Like it feels like if you wanted to talk and fix things, this person would not exactly cooperate or show enough interest. So it may have felt to you like you had no other choice, but to this person, it may have felt like, oh, like it's pile one's fault. And I'm not saying that it is. It feels like it's just a lot of different perceptions, very subjective perceptions, and they may have just not been very balanced with the head and the heart in this situation. I feel this person is very emotional, but that is almost not what you would perceive about them. Like they would almost appear emotionless rather than someone who is highly emotional, which I think they are. They just have not learned how to regulate, how to cope, how to take care of themselves. That's more so what it feels like. And maybe at times within this connection, you felt tempted to help them or to show them or to teach them something. But in the end, we cannot force someone to learn something they don't want to learn. Like even if you keep repeating something to a person, if they don't want to listen, they can just choose to tune you out and think about something entirely different and not even hear what you're saying. So it comes down a lot to the responsibility we take over our own healing in the end. And I feel like maybe this was a prominent concept in this situation where you may have wanted to help this person, but they did not want to be helped or did not even see that as an option. Like helped as in maybe maybe be told something that would break this pattern that they are in. And of course that's a lot easier said than done. And I feel this is someone who has put off a lot of inner work, and maybe someone who has been repeating similar cycles just in different situations, different locations, but the same cycles because they have not really learned that lesson. And again, I feel like this is someone who has poisoned themselves, and maybe as a result this has been spilling over to people around them, people that want to get close to them as well. But yeah, let's look at what this person now realizes about you. I feel for a lot of you, it may have been some time since you last kind of had a heart-to-heart with this person. And I do get a lot of like no contact energy, or just a lot of defensive energy here. So I'm just going to put these away and we can get into the tarot. And before I do that, I will quickly talk about what we're looking at in the extended, which is linked down below. We will look at this person's next action based on these realizations, and we will get tons of channeled messages from them for you, so what they would say, if they could say anything at all. And we will finish off with advice on what you may not see about this situation or how to go about it, anything that comes through. Okay, now that I know I won't forget that anymore, let's get into what they realized. I dropped a bunch of cards. I'm just going to pick them up, but starting off, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, as well as Temperance. Sagittarius energy could be significant. It is Sagittarius season right now, so this might be a significant time for your connection, for your situation, but it's just for extra confirmation if you are looking for any. And the way the cards fell, I feel it's also, and that the Ace of Cups in reverse came out, which is a placement I associate with self-love and sometimes disruptions in self-love, because it is coming out in the reverse. I feel that this self-love, self-compassion, it has been what has influenced this connection the most. I don't think this is a situation where external circumstances have mattered. I feel like it has come down to the choices that this person has made as a result of being very disconnected from their own selves and not really knowing how to healthily or in a balanced way give and take love. I think you may have tried to give this person a lot of love, but I think they may have not known what to do with it. And they may have just leaned into that feeling of validation, that sense of comfort they felt when they were around you. There's something about choices, decisions. We have the Eight of Wands. What has this person realized about the High of Wands? We have the Eight of Pentacles. This person realizes that you gave it your all. Now, at this moment in time, even if this wasn't at all obvious to them in the past, even if they felt quite alone in this connection, I think they now realize the type of energy you were giving them, especially in its absence. Especially now that their norm is maybe being without you, being without this connection. I feel like there is a realization of the big difference your absence makes in their life and how it maybe doesn't feel as warm. They realize how hard you have worked for this connection and how they did not see that at all. We have the Eight of Swords. We have 3 8s coming out, and we also had the number 35 in the beginning that also adds up to an 8. So 888 could be a significant symbol in this connection, but at the same time I feel again that it ties to Leo energy, and Leo energy in its shadow can be someone who acts out of their ego. The ego being this mechanism, this sense of self that is there to protect us from potential threats, from pain, from, you know, anything we don't want to be involved with, any scary things. And I feel that this person, in certain ways, on some level, while not entirely fully consciously, while maybe not at a point where they can fully talk about it, they see that they have acted prematurely at times, and they had their guard up when maybe you were trying to get them to open up, not because you wanted to hurt them, not because you were out to get them, but because you just wanted to talk or you just wanted to understand. I think their most significant realization is that you had good intentions with them. Even if they have messed up, you had good intentions with them, and that didn't seem to change, even though they may have felt like it did, because if they made a mistake in the connection, then they may have immediately thought, okay, this is all messed up now. Like, it's not perfect anymore. It is all going to be ruined because pile one hates me now, because maybe this person feels that harshly about their own self. And they just assume that other people would feel the same. I think they realized they weren't seeing their own role in this dynamic, and that they realize it may have not felt as good to you as it did to them. And it's not, I think, that it necessarily felt perfect to them, because this feels like someone who has always had some limitations to how comfortable they can feel in a relationship and how open they can feel to love. But I also feel that they may not have thought of your side of things that much at the time. They may have not thought that things would change, and this is maybe obvious at this point, but this person seems to realize how careless they've acted, like without any consideration, without any introspection, and how limited their perception has been about this situation. You may have known this for a long time. You may have realized this a long time ago about this person, but I feel like this was, or has not been, a realization they had on their own, kind of their responsibility, like the role of their behavior in this situation. For them, maybe it almost felt like it just, if it's not perfect, then it won't work anyway. There is a sense of perfectionism in this person, a very strong sense of perfectionism, but only towards their own self. We have the King of Cups in reverse. They realize they are not in control of their emotions, and that doesn't necessarily have to be the goal, but maybe more so that our emotions shouldn't necessarily be in control of us. And I feel that this person realizes they've been controlled by all of these emotions that have overwhelmed them, these fears especially. Fears, anxieties. They realize they have not fully opened up. And they realize they have not fully made an effort to. Even if at the time it may have felt like they were giving it their all, they realize what they can access in themselves, the resources, that's also very limited based on their own relationship with their own self and what they believe they are capable of in the first place. I don't know if I'm going to have to censor this, but I will anyway for YouTube. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. A lot of this is pointing to emotional immaturity. I think they're realizing they have not dealt with their emotions the best of ways, and they have not reflected, like, they have not projected their emotions to you in a way that honored what they were really feeling. We have Pisces energy with meditation coming out. This is the Hanged Man in this deck. They realize they've been putting a lot of things off. And they also realize they used the sense of comfort that you were giving them, the kind of softness, gentleness, as much of it as they could perceive. They used that as a band-aid for their pain. Like you were their sweet escape, but eventually you became what they were running from as well, because maybe you wanted things to go deeper. You wanted more commitment, you expected more, or they felt like you expected more. Can we clarify the Ace of Cups in reverse, please? We have introspection in reverse, which is the Hermit. So this person does realize they are lacking in the introspection department, that they haven't really done a lot of it because it's just been something they have been afraid of, and it's been something that they've been able to avoid so far. But I think they realize connecting with you would call for deeper insights, for deeper introspection, for a lot more self-awareness, and it would require taking more responsibility. They realize you didn't have bad intentions with them, and they realize you were still not out to get them. You are coming across as a lot more emotionally mature in that sense. Also, like, objectively. It feels like you gave this person in this situation your best shot, but then you were just eventually forced to make a decision to put an end to this situation, or the circumstances kind of pushed it to be that way, where you may have triggered this person to a point of them kind of running entirely. The exact details, they will vary based on your particular situation, but I feel like the message it comes down to is that this disruption, this separation, or this ending has been mainly because this person has felt so triggered within this connection, because you have been someone that was trying to get them to fly with you. You know, like, kind of look at things from a higher perspective, but also dive just as deep and explore the depths as well. And I feel like this person was just more comfortable on the ground. Even if they didn't really feel grounded, like, this figure is still in space, you know? Looks like it's a lot of earthy energy, but it's still in space. So it's maybe more so at least the illusion of comfort, or what feels comforting to them, maybe momentarily. And sometimes that involves closing our eyes to the rest of our circumstances or our behavior. And I feel like there is a lot of imagery about, like, eyes being closed, or just looking down, looking away. And we have this King of Cups energy with, like, this light coming out of the eyes. I feel like this person realizes you saw them for who they really are, and that didn't mean you were judging them. That just meant you saw the effort it took, and maybe this is because you did the work as well. I think this person is realizing that they are not stuck. They have not been stuck. They have just felt stuck, and they have made themselves believe that they are stuck. So I think this is something they are most likely in the process of realizing. Yeah, I think on this note, this is where we will take it to the extended. If you are meeting me there, I will see you in a little bit. If the video takes a bit to load, that is normal. Please give it a bit of time to load after you purchase, but if you have any questions, concerns after that, feel free to let me know. Just wanted to say that about the extended because I am finally using my own website. Everything is there, personal readings as well. So, but I did notice it takes a bit to load sometimes. for the videos to load properly. And yeah, if it's lagging too much, let me know. Okay. I am sending you tons of love and wishing you a wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully I will see you soon, and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind has realized about you, and I want to start off with some oracle cards first so that you can decide if this is your reading, if this is your pile, if this makes any sense to you, and if not, feel free to choose another group or another reading if you didn't feel drawn to any of the other groups. So let's get into this, and there will also be an extended, but we will talk about that later on. Starting off, we have the beaver animal spirit. I'm always happy to see this one. I don't know why. We have the lonely journey of the priestess, and we have materialization. For a lot of you, this energy feels new and it feels exciting, but that doesn't have to mean that you just met this person necessarily. For some of you, this could be like a budding romance, or I also wouldn't really be surprised if some of you are already with this person. And the reason I'm saying this is because I feel there is a very strong connection here between the two of you, regardless of the actual state the connection itself physically in a 3D way is in. This is a very powerful, intuitive connection. So I feel that there is a sense of seeing a future with this person, wondering about a future with this person, considering that possibility. So these are kind of some of the things that make me feel like this isn't necessarily an ex. It could be, but in that case, it would be someone that has been reintroduced into your life, or you are intending on doing this, or you've been in contact lately, something along those lines. I'm also getting something about being online. Maybe for some of you, this is long distance, or it could also be a dating app. You met this person on a dating app, or you communicate mainly through like texts, like messaging, or through some social media kind of situation. But overall, it feels like this is someone that has lately been on your mind, and you have been on this person's mind. It seems like there is interaction in one way or another. If you are already with this person, you may have had some like ups and downs with this person that have kind of made you curious and made you want to know about what's on their mind. You may have had a bit of a reset, a renewal in this connection, and maybe that's why it's coming through as potentially someone new if your situation is someone that's not new. But there is a sense of fresh energy, there is a sense of excitement, there is a sense of getting to know each other, or maybe getting to know each other again as a new version of yourselves. But there is a sense of like, even if you have a history with this person, even if you've already been through some things with this person, there is a sense of the unknown, of possibilities, of potential, of what might happen. And there is maybe a bit of hesitation that comes with this as well, maybe especially to do with physical circumstances, or I'm hearing realistic circumstances. So maybe this is the kind of connection that is easy to get lost in emotionally, and kind of you let go of all logic in this state, but you don't really want to let go of all logic. That's what it feels like. Maybe this is something you want to be kind of logical about as well, or challenge yourself in that way, especially if you tend to kind of let your emotions take the driver's seat very often. I don't know why I'm getting that in particular, but there is a level of caution coming through as well. This could be because of past experiences. It could also be because you have a past with this person, so you are approaching this situation with caution. But essentially, this would be a situation where you see potential with this person and there is an ongoing connection, potentially like just regular contact. I feel that this is someone who tries their best. Like, that's what I'm hearing. The beaver energy makes me think of someone who tries their best, who tries to build, who tries to go against the current if they have to in order to build what they want to. So this is someone dependable, but it's not someone who makes decisions very easily or someone who takes decisions very lightly. And just because they're dependable doesn't mean that they will always do everything perfectly. So it may have been that while the intentions are there, this connection could have been a bit slow moving due to maybe some fears both of you have, maybe some external circumstances like distance. Carrying past pain is coming through quite strongly. So this could be that you feel like you've met someone. This could be that someone you met, but you are not ready to, you don't maybe feel ready to explore this connection any further or to allow it to become more intimate, become deeper, or take the next step. There just seems to be the sense of being at a threshold with this person overall, regardless of like you just met them or you've been with them for a long time. This could be going from like being in a committed relationship to marriage, for example. It could be of making things official with a person, like a situationship. It could be you just met and like there are so many next potential steps. But the common ground in all of these situations is that we are at a threshold here of what's to come, of what can come. There is a bit of hesitation coming into this because the next steps seem to require a lot of growth, a lot of journeying, and that's also why I got kind of the long distance energy from this. But it doesn't have to be literal physical journeying necessarily. It could also just be emotional. It could just be personal growth. It could just be needing to transform something either within you or within this person, but most likely this will be a mirrored energy in one way or another. I think both people here are aware of the potential of this situation, aware that there is a connection here, absolutely. I think there is a lot of gentleness, a lot of fondness, a lot of playfulness in this energy. Like you can act like you can act free around this person, even if realistically you are bound by certain rules, certain obstacles, mental or physical. There is a sense of liberation, a sense of freedom with this person. Some of you could have consciously manifested this person. That is something that I'm getting, like, or manifested this next step, or manifested this kind of connection. It just seems like you asked for something for some of you, and then it's right in front of you, but then you're doubting it because how the hell did that happen? Like, it kind of feels like that there is something pleasantly surprising about this connection. It could also be that you got to see a new side of someone you already knew, but you met a new side of them. You saw them from a different angle. You met a different version of them. Regardless, I think this is someone that you feel very drawn to and someone who feels very drawn to you as well. But there is a matter of just possibilities and maybe things feeling not so grounded because the focus seems to be on where to go rather than where we are right now and how we're feeling right now. So that may be something that creates a bit of confusion within this situation. I also feel for some of you, there may be another situation you feel bound to right now. Maybe going through a breakup, but it could also just be carrying the weight of the emotional weight of things that may have happened in your past. Like there is just a sense of being bound but feeling liberated with this person within maybe your bubble, the realistic circumstances holding you back from moving very fast in this situation. And that's not to say you should move very fast, but it seems like there are question marks, there is questioning, there is hesitation. Even though it seems like things are also pleasant right now, I don't feel like this is someone you are necessarily actively in a fight with at the moment you are watching this, or if you like have argued with this person or had a disagreement. I feel like it would be something, you know, like it's not a deal breaker, it's not the end kind of thing. And I'm kind of thinking of moments of conflict because if you are with this person especially, and you want to know this about them, maybe there are question marks or just things that have been left unresolved in this situation that you're looking for answers about. But yeah, if this sounds like your situation, I feel like this is the pile where there will be kind of a wider range of potential scenarios. So take these messages as they resonate with you. And if this is your pile, let's get into it. We're gonna look at their realizations. And before I do that, I will quickly talk about what we are looking at in the extended reading. I don't know if I said that even anymore, but there is an extended. We will look at this person's actions in the near future towards you. We will get tons of channeled messages from them to see what they would say to you, if you could kind of have a heart-to-heart, or they could say anything, like anything that needs to come through. And we will finish off with advice / what you don't see about the situation, anything that needs to come through. The link is down below, and it's out of the way, so we can get into the tarot. This deck is a bit hard to shuffle, so bear with me. I feel called to say the name Chris. Hello, if you are Chris, or you know a Chris. So we have death. Scorpio energy or season could be significant, but it doesn't have to be. It's just for extra confirmation if you're looking for any. We have the Fool, Aries energy, and we have the Knight of Cups. Okay, first of all, this person realizes that they see incredible amounts of potential with you. They see that this connection would they would need to take some risks to be able to achieve this potential, because there is definitely room for change here. It feels like things are maybe not exactly where either of you would ideally want them to be. So there is room for change, and there is opportunity for change, at least in this person's perspective, even if they're not entirely sure of the details of that or how exactly it would go. There is definitely a sense of realizing, okay, you know, I have fought some battles, lost some of them. I've been wrong. I've been like, there is kind of big sense of just looking back at their life, what they've done so far, and realizing that they can still pick themselves up and keep going. And maybe that seems kind of like a very obvious thing, and it is not entirely just related to this connection, but I think that also applies if you have had ups and downs within this connection, or they've had ups and downs in their romantic life, or like just some blockages in this connection in particular. There is a sense that it doesn't have to be over because of what happened. So it feels like there is a realization of, one, the sheer potential and possibilities there are and how that excites them, even though they may not exactly have a plan, even if they may not know if it will work out. And with this Knight of Cups, they realize they really care about you. They really, really do. And there is a sense of kind of carrying a piece of you where they go. For some of you, they may, if you maybe gave them a gift, they may carry that with them everywhere they go. Or they may think about it often if it's not something wearable or like something they can carry around. They realize they really care about you. This connection is really important to them, even if they have had their doubts. Even if they have had like kind of holdups, and even if this connection is not, I feel like this connection has not reached its full potential yet. I think they realize that, like, this is not all there could be. We have the Queen of Swords. This person realizes you hold a lot of power over them. I don't know if they would tell you that, but you hold a lot of power over them. And they also realize anything they're gonna think about, you've probably also considered already. Like, you are ahead of them in a way. So this may be especially if they know, like, you are interested in the tarot, or maybe you're not, but I mean, am I crazy for assuming you might be? But it just feels like you're kind of one step ahead of them, and I think they realize that. Or even if you're not, they seem to think you're one step ahead of them, or you kind of know what you're doing. So there is a sense of also trust in you, that you can lead, and also maybe like lead as in you will know what to do. I don't know if this is necessarily how you feel, if like you feel like you know what to do in this situation, but and maybe that's not the best way of putting it, actually. They seem to like look up to you in a certain way, or really admire you, and maybe that's why it's coming through in this exact wording. But they realize there is a decision for you to make. There's something that they feel falls on your shoulders. This, for some of you, could be whether you are open to a connection, whether you are open to them. It could be the exact terms of the next step, what you would expect from them. But they realize you hold power over them also because they feel so much for you. Even if you may not always see eye to eye about everything, like you may not agree on everything, but this person just holds you to such high regard that they still take your opinions very seriously, and they I don't even know if this is a realization, but this person is so attracted to you. It's kind of like, even if you have a complicated past, I feel like this person just keeps thinking it's pile two, it's pile two, it's pile two. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. So there is a bit of a, there's quite a strong pull here that is kind of difficult to put into words. So I think you would know if this is your situation, because this feels like a very distinct energy. And I feel like you may have a lot of doubt, like a lot of on and off thoughts about this, a lot of doubt. Like, it seems like this person realizes this connection is keeping your mind really busy as well. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Came out in the same position in one of the other two piles. You are actually the last pile I'm filming. I filmed this reading completely out of order again. But so I don't remember which pile anymore, but if you have another person on your mind, you may want to check out one of the other two piles. Like, additionally, if you have another person on your mind. But anyway, I will stop now. I don't want to influence you if you didn't feel drawn to the rest. But if you did, I am giving you confirmation. Because I felt there may have been some connecting energies in the other piles. Like some witchcraft going on. Okay, so can we clarify death? We have Judgment. Clarifying death. This is such a powerful energy. It's filled with realizations. It's filled with growth. This person realizes that they could experience that with you within this connection. There's so much about just seeing the potential. And I feel like they realize they are hopeful about this connection, regardless of what the physical reality has told them so far. We have the Emperor in reverse. Aries energy clarifying Aries energy. Scorpio energy clarifying Scorpio energy. They realize you are quite in tune, and they seem to realize you share certain wounds, but also certain core beliefs. They also realize they don't want to do too much too soon. They don't want to rush into anything. They realize that is not the way to go. Or at least they don't think so, even if that's not a realization of an objective truth necessarily. They realize there is something that feels so fated about this situation. Maybe they see signs around you. They realize there is something that feels so fated that they shouldn't really try to interfere with it too much, and they shouldn't fight against it, and they shouldn't come into this with fear. That doesn't necessarily mean they will be perfect at doing this, but there is definitely a realization of how they potentially might self-sabotage this, or they may have self-sabotaged it in the past, or they may have like self-sabotaged something, other situations in the past. We have Justice clarifying the Queen of Swords. Libra energy could be significant. They realize you are like, you have a good head on your shoulders, and you seem to balance this person out. There seems to be a very strong level of compatibility. They realize the two of you are compatible, even if you have differences, even if you argue, even if it hasn't been or won't be a perfect relationship. It doesn't have to be. I think that is also a big lesson this person has been learning about personal relationships. Maybe that is something mirrored between the two of you. There is a lot of sense, like this mirroring type of energies here. We have the Three of Cups coming out as well. If this is someone new, they realize they are not interested in other people or dating other people or something surface level, something just to distract themselves. They realize they're not really interested in that. Maybe for some of you, they've kind of met you and then lost interest in other people. They don't want to mess it up by, they realize they don't want to mess it up by not taking it seriously or appearing like they're not taking it seriously. Maybe at times they seem detached, but I don't think that's how they really are. I think they just value their independence a lot as well, even in a connection, and that may maybe at times make them overcompensate and appear detached, even when that's not how they really feel, or they may appear a bit uninterested, even if that's not how they really feel. We have the Six of Cups as the bottom deck energy. They realize they feel very connected to you, regardless of like whether you have history with this person or not. They feel very drawn to you, very connected to you. They realize being in your energy just feels right. And I feel this especially applies in instances you can see this person physically. If you have seen this person physically, for some of you, again, this might be very new, and it may just be this person kind of, all about this person realizing their interest in you and that they see a potential with you. But it can also be that, like, there is definitely a realization of, if this was a situation where you were not committed, or like you've been committed for a while, and it is perfectly okay to, you know, question a relationship as well. It is something that you are giving to, so it's not like a one-time decision made and then everything stays the same forever kind of situation. So even if this is someone you've been with for a while and you've been through some trials, I feel like this person realizes that they're not interested in anyone or anything else, like in terms of relationships, in terms of romance. This is something this person takes seriously. They realize that, and they realize they should take it seriously, because they realize that's the kind of energy you deserve. I think they hold you to very high regard, even if, like, you feel you've done something wrong or you haven't been your best self at all times. I feel like there is so much joy in the way this person sees you. It's like your inner child has come out to play when this person was around, and vice versa. That's what it feels like. So it feels like they feel a very pure connection to you. For some of you, if this person has recently acted in a way that you did not approve of, they realize you were right. As maybe a more particular message, I think this will maybe apply if you have a bit of history with this person. They have acted in a way that was not okay, and that did not reflect truly how they feel and how they should have acted. So they realize they weren't in the right. If there was something you argued or disagreed about lately, they realize they kind of acted in an immature way. And this person also realizes sometimes they tend to say things they may not entirely mean, especially in like a heated argument kind of situation, or in a moment of a negative feeling, especially like anxiety, fear. I feel like they realize they don't always say the right things, and they may have said the wrong things at times, but they realize they need to communicate better, or that they could communicate better, that they could reflect their thoughts better, they could express their thoughts better. There is definitely some growth to be had in that respect, with the Page of Swords and the King of Swords coming out. So I think that is something they are learning about themselves. Maybe you've been teaching this person to interact in a more gentle but still fair way, like to express yourself authentically without kind of getting lost in that communication. I don't know what the best way to put that is, but I hope you get what I mean. Is there anything else that wants to come through? What has this person realized about my pile twos? We have the Seven of Swords. Interesting. Can we clarify the Seven of Swords? What has this person realized? Page of Pentacles in reverse. This person realizes without effort, without work, this won't work. Like, it won't work out. And maybe for some of you, especially if you have a past with this person, they've avoided taking responsibility in certain aspects. They realize it's not going to fly. We have the Two of Cups coming out. And again, if you have no history with this person, if this is someone completely new, I think the main realizations are around their like interest in you and what it would take to kind of materialize that interest into a reality. And on this note, I think this is all I have for you. I will now move on to the extended, and I will see you in a little bit if you are meeting me there. The link is down below, and I just want to say one thing quickly about that. I am finally using my own website for everything, for personal readings as well as extended readings. And one difference with Vimeo that has is that the videos load a little bit slower. So if you purchase an extended reading and it is not immediately like watchable, if you give it a bit of time, it should become available to you. But if it's been like, I don't know, half an hour or something and it's still not there, feel free to send me an email and I will see if something is wrong. But yeah, okay. Now I will leave you to go about your day or talk to me some more. But yeah, I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello my beautiful pile threes, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind now realizes about you and about your connection. And yours is actually the first pile I'm filming today for this collective reading, and it has been a while since I filmed a collective reading, so I may be a little bit rusty, a little bit crusty, hopefully not, but we will see. So it has already taken me a few times to film the introduction, but that's mainly because I kept getting interrupted. Like I just could not get into it, and that already makes me feel like this is a situation that has had some repetitions. And it doesn't just have to be that you repeated the same cycle with this person. It definitely could be, but I'm also more so getting energies of just frustration and maybe facing the same obstacle over and over again and coming to the same point over and over again, having the same expectations over and over again, but things just quite not falling together the way that they may seem like they will or the way that you may have wanted them to. I think for a lot of you, this is going to be an ex or someone that you are no longer actively involved with. You could still be in contact in certain ways, but I feel like that contact would also be limited if you are not already in a no contact situation, because there is an energy of silence and a lot of like there being a lot of gaps to fill, because there seems to be a bit of like fog around what this person might be doing. Like a lot of the information you get about them could be secondhand information, like through other sources or through tarot maybe, because it doesn't really feel like there is a whole lot of maybe very honest communication going on between you and this person right now. Or if there is communication, I feel it would be very limited also in the information that you get out of it. It seems like there is a bit of a wearing a mask kind of situation, a bit of a defensiveness to this energy. And I think that is also on both ends, because while you may have tried to be fully vulnerable in this situation, I feel like the circumstances of it in the end didn't entirely allow for that kind of transparency, for that kind of vulnerability. And I think that is also because this energy likely was not matched. And I'm getting a lot of frustration on your end, especially in dealing with this situation, in understanding this situation, trying to understand this situation, and maybe feeling a bit like you keep constantly being pulled back into this situation, even when you may have tried to move on or date other people. It just seems like something that keeps coming back, even if it doesn't come back in the form of this person taking action or making a big breakthrough. It seems like mentally or emotionally, this is a connection that has surrounded you for some time. Like it just keeps calling to you in certain ways, or you feel called to it in certain ways. I just heard bird song, like the bird was like chirping just now, and it made me think of the words bird song. That could be relevant or significant to you in some way. It doesn't have to be, or birds could be significant as well. But let's actually look at these cards now. I felt like there was already a lot of kind of frustrated, pressured energy in this situation, so I wanted to already talk about that before we get into it more. But let's see. So we have the moth. I pulled an animal card to represent the energy of the person that you are thinking about. We have number 13, the Heart Eater, which also makes me think of the Death card in the tarot, as it is a number 13. Scorpio energy could be significant. I'm also getting Virgo and Aries and Capricorn. But these are just for extra confirmation. If you are looking for any, they don't have to be relevant at all. So we also have moderation, which is the number 4, which is the Emperor. So Aries energy is coming through again. But with moderation coming out, this is confirmation that I think this connection has felt limited. Like, there is also a message about maybe you wanting to interact with this connection in moderation. Like, you don't want to be consumed in it, maybe because you have been very consumed in it in the past to no avail, like to only to get nowhere or only to repeat the same cycle. And I'm putting it this way because I feel like there is an inherent frustration in this energy, even though there is also a sense of one person trying to be understanding, but I also feel it seems a bit like it's not reciprocated, maybe. Or not that the other person's not trying to be understanding, but that they can't, maybe, because they can't dive that deep. There is a sense of someone swimming in shallow waters. And I feel like this more so applies to this person's energy, where they are afraid of drowning, so they just swim in shallow waters. And this is what they've always done. It's not something they do specifically with you, but I feel it is something this person has always done. There is a sense of being at mismatched levels, mismatched depth. With the Heart Eater coming out, I feel this is going to be someone that has hurt you, has put you through a lot of pain, and it seems that there has been not a lot of like consideration going into that on this person's end. They may have acted a bit recklessly, a bit on an impulse. I'm also getting a bit of a sense that this person, for a lot of you, may have chosen something else or someone else over this situation. But whatever this thing is, if this is the case for you, you would already know about it. So please don't be alarmed if this isn't part of your situation, but the rest makes sense. There is just a sense of this person being drawn to things that are maybe easy and simple, and being excited about things on a surface level very quickly, so they move around a lot. And again, this doesn't have to necessarily be about a third-party situation. It can just be that they chose another career opportunity. They chose to switch their study track, like they could have moved somewhere else. I could also see this being about a friendship. It does not necessarily have to be romantic, but you can interpret these messages as they apply to your particular situation. This kind of looks like an apple to me, and that makes me think of education. So you could have met this person at school. They could be a teacher. With moderation coming out, there's also a sense of like, I don't quite know how to put it into words exactly, but there is just a very strong energy of holding back. And it's not out of having bad intentions necessarily. I don't think this person is coming through as someone with bad intentions, but someone who is maybe afraid of getting hurt themselves. And as a result of that, they may put others through pain that they themselves are avoiding. And there is a bit of a, and this is not to justify or excuse any of their behavior, but I think there is a part of them that is not entirely aware of this. A part of them that has not been entirely aware of this. And this could have been a frustration in this situation as well, that they may, when confronted with their actions, they may come across unaware, or just like their head is somewhere else entirely, or like they never cared, or like they never considered. There is a sense of resentment coming through as well. Like, this person has burned a bridge and just kept going. Like, they just walked away, and then you were there contemplating what was left, and like what happened. And this person was quick to move away. There is a sense of them running, there is a sense of them avoiding, and there is a sense of this kind of leaving you in a fog, in a bit of a dark cloud, wondering and wondering what maybe you could have done differently, or how this could have gone differently. or just one person being more concerned with analyzing the situation, understanding how it could have worked differently. I feel like there is an overall, maybe a slight like runner chaser kind of dynamic, but I also don't feel you would have actively chased this person. It's not so like, it's not coming through as such an obvious energy where it's just like this person is like, I want space, and then you're like, no, or something. It's not like that at all. It's in a lot more subtle sense. Like, you may have acknowledged your own feelings about this situation, whereas this person did not do that at all. And they may have just been fine dealing with things on a surface level, not talking about everything and just ignoring things and kind of moving on with that. You're just not acknowledging anything at all. For some of you, this could be someone that you never had a lot of contact with in the first place, and someone that you don't know that well, someone who may not know you that well either. Even if there was an opportunity to achieve this, to get to this point with this person, it just seems like they have chosen rather to hang out on the surface, like in the shallow part, close to the shore, because they're worried what they might experience otherwise. But this is likely going to be someone that you felt very attracted to, and someone who also felt very attracted to you, not necessarily romantically, again, if this isn't a romantic situation, but just overall as a person. There is a strong sense of attraction, but also a strong sense of resistance. And now you may approach this situation with a lot of hesitation, a lot of skeptical energy because of what happened. And this situation might also be something that has affected you in other situations. I'm drawn to this like end sign, end symbol. This feels unfinished in energy. I think you may still be seeking answers about this situation, wondering what could have happened or what there is to happen, how this person's doing. I feel like there are a lot of gaps to fill for you in this situation, and probably for them too, to some extent, because I also don't feel maybe there's been a lot of contact lately, so they may also not be very aware of what you're going through, what's going on with you. There is a sense of disconnect. So if this sounds like your situation, we will now get into what this person now realizes about you and about this connection, if they are realizing something. And there will also be an extended reading. I will actually quickly talk about that already while I put these away, so that that's done. We will look at their actions in the near future towards you and this connection. If there is nothing, we will look at their next actions overall, like if it's not in the near future, but the near future is also up to interpretation. I don't like putting like a particular time limit on it, like 2 weeks or something. So that's what we'll be doing. We will be getting tons of channeled messages from this person that is coming through, and we will also get advice for you on how to navigate these energies and about kind of what you might need to hear or know about this situation. So if you are interested, the link will be down below. With that said, let's see. pile 3, please. From my pile 3s, what has this person realized? What are they realizing? What do they realize about pile 3 and their connection? We have the 5 of Wands in reverse. One thing this person realizes is that you have always had good intentions towards them, even when they may have felt attacked, even when they may have felt conflicted. You are not someone who is out to get them, even if they may have felt like you are, especially if you try to get close to them. This seems like someone who may like kind of become defensive very quickly out of a fear of getting hurt, out of a fear of other people being out to get them, or being too vulnerable and then regretting it. Maybe this is because this person has been burned in the past in a way that they have not to this day dealt with. So they still carry that weight, that habit of pushing people away if they try to get too close to them, because it feels maybe threatening, maybe too dangerous. We have the wisdom teacher, which is the hermit. I feel like I mentioned Virgo energy at some point, but Virgo energy is also coming through. I don't know if this exactly counts as something I need to censor, but YouTube is a bit weird with these things, so I'm gonna censor this card anyway, just in case. That should be enough. Okay. We have the Lovers. A lot of Mercury energy coming through with the Lovers and the Hermit. And we have Gemini with the Lovers. What has this person realized about my pile 3s? We have the Ace of Cups, which kind of looks more like a 2 of Cups in this deck. What has this person realized? We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Yeah, the spirits are the knights in this deck. For one thing, this person realizes their own fearful nature when it has come to connecting with you. They also realize that they've been afraid to interact with this connection because they just didn't have a certain answer on how it would go, if it would end, if it would last, if they even would want something to last in their life. I feel it's not just a fear of things going wrong, but there's also a fear of things going right, and then having like an extra thing to worry about in their life. Like, because if they have something they end up really caring about, something they feel really drawn to, something they feel so connected to, someone they feel so connected to, there is always a risk of losing this person, because this is someone who knows nothing is forever. And I think they kind of live with that perspective, but not in a way that exactly gets them to enjoy the moment necessarily, but in a way that maybe makes them more avoidant, more hesitant to have long-lasting things, long-lasting connections. There is something with the central Gemini energy where this person makes a lot of choices because they look for a lot of opportunities, because they like to move around, even if not physically, just mentally, just energetically, they don't, this is not someone who likes to, especially emotionally, focus on one thing, put all their eggs in one basket. This is someone who feels fearful of that. And I feel this is something they see about themselves, that they are the ones isolating themselves. Or at least I think this is something they're coming to realize, that it has been them making a conscious choice to avoid this situation rather than following the hints the situation may have given them, or acting based on like who they think you are. It seems like it's just they realize they've considered the situation itself, but not you as a person necessarily, and how you may have felt as a result of it either. There is a sense of caring about you, but not showing that. And they realize they haven't, and maybe in the past this wasn't that obvious to them. There's a bit of an energy of like, oh, I already made it obvious to pile 3, like I'm talking to them, so they must know I'm into them. There's a bit of defensiveness. There's a bit of just assuming what you may know about them, what you may have understood about them through their actions, and telling themselves, oh yeah, I already acted in a straightforward way, so it should be clear to pile 3 that I mean no harm, but this is just how I am. There is a bit of a rule-based kind of approach to this, even if they wouldn't call it that, or even if it's not exactly in those words. There is a bit of maybe being more focused on their perspective compared to yours or other people that they may have been involved in. And I think this is because they see themselves as kind of a, in certain ways, a lone wolf. And this doesn't mean they are literally isolated from other people, but more so emotionally, there are a lot of walls emotionally around this person and around their energy. And this is just their normal, which I think they are coming to realize, especially in this situation, that there is a sense of like unfinishedness to this. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So it's not just all peace. It's not all just, okay, we get each other and that's that, as they may have thought or told themselves before in the past. So I think they realize this situation is not exactly how they interpret it. And your side of things, it's not how they assumed. And this doesn't even have to be that you said anything to them, but they may have just been having other experiences in their life, having growth in their life, emotionally especially. We have the King of Cups. Maturing emotionally a bit more. I heard long time coming. So maybe for some of you, you've waited for this person for some time, waited for them to make a decision, or waited for them to make up their mind. Can we clarify the Hermit? We have the Three of Cups. This again makes me think of a bit of escapism. It makes me think of someone who may choose to undermine their own feelings, undermine the intensity of their own feelings, undermine the possibilities for situations that are long-lasting, long-term. It's almost like they just think it's not meant for me. Like, it's not how I live my life. I move from place to place. I'm not a stable person. I don't look for stability. But I think they are realizing that maybe that's not entirely true. We have the Emperor coming out. We have the number 4 again in the beginning of your reading with Aries energy. So we are getting a repetition of that. The month of April especially is coming through, or maybe someone is called April. Can we clarify the Ace of Cups? I'm sorry about all these little threads. I've been knitting and I'm just covered in wool. Maybe knitting is significant, since I felt randomly like I should mention that. We have the Sun. And we have the Nine of Wands. This person, they have been experiencing a lot of inner transformations. And I think this is because they have started to learn to love themselves. Because it seems like they were, in a way, withholding things from themselves. Things that they want, things that could be good for them, things that they find interesting, exciting. And it's because they didn't withhold everything from themselves, like everything they found exciting. Because I feel like this person, if given the opportunity, they would have maybe just, you know, disappeared for months on a career opportunity or a study opportunity, like for like a project or something. Like they would go, like, they don't need to have traveled anywhere necessarily, but just as a concept, I feel like this is someone who would be more open to taking opportunities that are not long-lived necessarily and not too stable necessarily, but just interesting and thrilling. And maybe that overshadowed that in other situations, in other genres of situations, they have been very self-limiting towards themselves. Like they just are not meant for things that last. They're not meant for people that stay. I think they have had a lot of thoughts around this even before you may have met them. This seems very long-lasting. It seems very built in to their energy from a very young age. And this is something that they have had to transform for a long time, which they hadn't. And it's something that was making them very anxious, very fearful. But there has been a small ego death almost. That's what it feels like. And they may not realize the full extent of that and the full effects of that, but this person is realizing that their inner world has significantly changed the course of this connection. And it was their inner world rather than the rules that were presented to them, rather than what is actually within their reach, rather than what is actually an opportunity. It was their inner rules, the way that they saw themselves, that made this person fearful, that made this person avoidant. They are realizing that when they love themselves, they become more open to love outside of themselves as well. Like their inner energy is reflected back to them from the outside. And the more they familiarize themselves with that energy of compassion, of love, of gentleness, the more they're able to recognize it in others and in situations outside of them as well. So I feel like there has been a lot of healing going on in this person's energy. I am very pleasantly surprised to see this, because I feel for a lot of you, this is a situation that's been around, that has raised a lot of questions, and it feels like it has made you feel stuck. And I think it has made this person feel stuck, but in a different way, because it seems like something that they just felt obliged to let go of because of who they are, because of how they live, or because of some kind of circumstance that, when it comes down to it, maybe wouldn't actually matter that much if they were not so strongly holding on to their self-limiting beliefs. And I think this person, if they have chosen another situation, especially a third-party situation. I feel like that has been an instigator of this person's growth, and it has been a source of knowledge for this person, a source of transformation. They realize that they feel drawn to you, like that connection has not been tarnished, that feeling has not been tarnished. They realize you are someone that has made them happy, that has brought a lot of positivity into their life, even if their fears kind of painted all of that into maybe just stress or something unwanted, something too much, when it wasn't too much at all. And I think this person is experiencing this because they have been learning to regulate themselves better. Instead of maybe looking at things like in strict categories, this person is realizing that they've been too quick to judge this situation. And quick as in, it seems like in an instant, at a certain point, maybe from the very beginning, this person was already decided on what they wanted out of this situation. But they realize that that was premature. And maybe it wasn't entirely based on facts, but it was based on fears that they had, confusions, anxieties, their past experiences that kind of made them a lot more guarded towards things that they might actually want. Let's see if there is anything else that wants to come through. Is there anything else that wants to come through about what this person now realizes about my pile, please? Oh, we have Leo energy with the sun coming out as well. Right as I felt called to say that, I didn't even see this before I said it, but we have the moon coming out, Cancer and Pisces. Though we have the sun and we have the moon, there is still a strong sense of connection that this person feels towards you, because I feel like for a lot of you, this situation has been in some ways left as a possibility, like left open-ended. So they realize that something here feels unfinished. They realized there was no closure to this cycle. It has just been moving at a minimal pace. Is there anything else? I think the main thing they realize essentially is that a lot of fear has changed the way that they have seen this connection, that they have perceived this connection, that they have interacted with you. And a lot of their fears have affected how this situation played out. And I think maybe in the past, maybe this is coming through as a realization because this person wouldn't have even said that they are afraid of anything. But more so it is just how things are, matter of fact. And I think they realize their own inner world, and they see new things about their own inner world and how it has maybe at times served not as protection, but as, as protection, but also as a big limitation. Because this person has been just experiencing their comfort zone. And they realize that even if they take other opportunities like outside of emotional situations, when it comes to their emotions, there is a strong sense of this person having been in their comfort zone. And they realize that's not them. Like, that's not their personality. That's not who they are. They're not a comfort zone kind of person. So there is a bit of there is a sense of realizing that mismatch in their values. Like, this is someone who maybe isn't afraid to try new things, isn't afraid to like stand in their power, take control. But when it has come to emotional matters, it has been a completely different story. And I think they also realized the mismatch in how they felt and how they acted in this situation. Like, they may have acted in a more logical way, which has made them more defensive rather than open to vulnerability. So now I think we will take this to the extended. If you are meeting me there, the link is down below. I am now doing this through my own website. Finally, everything is in one place. If you have any questions or anything is like kind of wonky, it is still new, so feel free to let me know. If you get the extended, it may take a few minutes to load. From experience, that is what I've seen, but that is normal. But if you have any troubles after that, like if it's been a day and it still hasn't loaded or something, just send me an email and I will fix it for you. But hopefully nothing will go wrong. Anyway, so I will stop rambling now and leave you to do what it is you gotta do today. And I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye.